You okay? You need a minute? Cool. Okay. Listen up, people. I know a thing or two about extinction. And let me tell you, and you'd kind of think this would be obvious, going extinct is a bad thing. And driving yourselves extinct? In 70 million years, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. At least we had an asteroid. What's your excuse? You're headed for a climate disaster, and yet every year governments spend hundreds of billions of public funds on fossil fuel subsidies. Imagine if we had spent hundreds of billions per year subsidizing giant meteors. That's what you're doing right now. Think of all the other things you could do with that money. Around the world, people are living in poverty. Don't you think helping them would make more sense than, I don't know, paying for the demise of your entire species? Let me be real for a second. You've got a huge opportunity right now. As you rebuild your economies and bounce back from this pandemic, this is humanity's big chance. So here's my wild idea. Don't choose extinction. Save your species before it's too late. It's time for you humans to stop making excuses and start making changes. Thank you.
When I look at the state of the world, all I can see is deception and lawlessness. Because of the abundance of false beliefs and ideologies, this is one big way how the world is so dark. What the masses don't realize is that they are tied more than ever to the God of this world, who is Satan. Among them, the God of this world, Satan, has blinded the minds of the unbelieving to prevent them from seeing the illuminating light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of Elohim. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4. Satan is the one who the majority in this world is bending the knee to. Because people are not following Yahuwah in his truth, they will find themselves believing in other things that stem from Satan. And there are many beliefs and religions that the enemy created that is leading them away from the Most High. But one belief that is leading people away from Yah is the belief of the prehistoric reptiles known as dinosaurs. And I know that this can throw people off, but there is information that people are not aware of on why the belief in dinosaurs is harmful. Because from what I research about this belief is that there is an agenda the masses are not aware of that has to do with modern science and medicine and what they plan on doing to change the world. There is a bigger picture to this belief that many people are unaware of, and I just want to take this time to warn and explain to whoever about the dangers of this belief and what it is leading the world to in the soon future. So if you desire to hear my view on this belief of the dinosaurs, then let's break this all down so we can see how exactly this story is something you should not follow. So in order to understand this topic in full, we need to cover the story of the dinosaurs and where it is leading the world to.
Probably no other creatures on the planet have struck as much fear and awe in our hearts as the dinosaurs. The earliest dinosaurs appeared about 245 million years ago during the Triassic period, when most of the Earth's land masses were still joined together as the supercontinent Pangaea. Over millions of years, Pangaea split apart, causing the dinosaurs to become separated for the very first time. This led the reptiles to adapt to their specific habitats and diversify, giving rise to many new dinosaur species. According to some estimates, more than 1,000 species of dinosaurs have roamed the Earth. All dinosaurs descended from reptiles called archosaurs. From there, dinosaurs branched out into two major groups, Saurischia and Ornithischia, based on the shape and orientation of their pelvis. But by around 66 million years ago, most dinosaurs died out, and the reason why is still a mystery. The most well-known explanation is an asteroid strike, but a multitude of factors may have contributed to this extinction. In fact, the dinosaur population was already in severe decline by the time the asteroid struck. However, several dinosaur species survived, and some of which evolved to become today's birds. The world has never again seen land creatures as great as the dinosaurs. But through their descendants and fossils left behind, their legacy lives on.
So, okay, this is what they briefly explain when it comes to the dinosaurs. Now, I know from speaking on a subject like this can bring strife for many who strongly believe in dinosaurs. I know that when I was going to school in my younger years, I was being taught heavily about dinosaurs. And me personally, I wasn't a big fan of dinosaurs, but they were cool to learn about. Now, there are many who want to tie the dinosaurs with the Bible because they feel they are synonymous. But the plain and simple truth about dinosaurs is that they do not derive from the Bible. There are too many people that want to have all of these rationalizations and justifications to tie the dinosaurs into the Bible. Our indoctrination runs deep, and most of the time as we are being programmed, we are completely unaware of it. The problem that many people don't understand is that the story of the dinosaurs is different from the creation story in Genesis. It's a problem because you have been presented information about the same world you live in, but it's been presented in two different ways. And depending on who you believe and follow, depends on who you will be more attached to and by consequence not attached to. This is the issue when it comes to the story of the dinosaurs. But we need to dig more into the story of the dinosaurs to see why it doesn't come from the Bible. Now, according to the National History Museum about when the dinosaurs lived, they say non-bird dinosaurs lived between about 245 and 66 million years ago, in a time known as the Mesozoic era. This was many millions of years before the first modern humans, Homo sapiens, appeared. Scientists divide the Mesozoic era into three periods: the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. During this era, the land gradually split from one huge supercontinent into smaller ones. The associated changes in the climate and vegetation affected how dinosaurs evolved. This is the main story we are told about the existence of these dinosaurs. Now, there are many points that can be discussed with this. They claim that dinosaurs lived millions of years ago, way before man even existed on the earth. Dinosaurs did not live millions of years ago because this world was not made millions of years ago, but was actually created 6,000 years ago from Elohim. The Big Bang Theory actually promotes the universe coming about billions of years ago. They say before there was humans, dinosaurs, and etc., there was the Big Bang that occurred. Also, CERN says that the God particle, or Higgs boson, is what started the birth of the universe. The existence of this mass-giving field was confirmed in 2012 when the Higgs boson particle was discovered at CERN. They say evidence for the God particle was obtained from data collected at CERN's Large Hadron Collider near Geneva, Switzerland, as well as at Fermilab's Tevatron Collider in the United States. And if you are in the know about CERN, you know that this organization is actually satanic. But they are using a Large Hadron Collider to recreate the moments after the Big Bang and hope to find the answers of the universe, life, and everything else along with it. But I made a video discussing the evolution religion and explain how the world came to be from what the Bible says and what evolution says, and they were very different accounts. But the dinosaur stems from the evolution religion because both of these subjects were taught in biology. Anyways, they say that dinosaurs existed way before man did, but this is not consistent with the Bible. There are those who created a gap theory, which they say was a very long gap of time between Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 and chapter 1 verse 2. The claim is that the world that existed during this gap was destroyed and Elohim recreated it in the 6 days described in Genesis. They say the earth was destroyed and void between those two verses because of Lucifer's rebellion and him being cast down to earth. They say this occurred and then there was the renewal of the earth in the 6 days. So from Satan's rebellion, this caused great destruction on the earth, bringing an end to the age of the dinosaurs. There are many who tried to put the dinosaurs before Yahuwah created Adam and Eve. But the whole history of the dinosaurs is about life and then the destruction of life. This extra part of history that the world has taught, it is something that our Father has not taught. He has not talked about anything of the sort. Yah's story of creation is very specific, and he only teaches about the destruction of his creation once with Noah's flood. This is just something extra that man came up with to dismiss how the Heavenly Father created the world. Dinosaurs did not come before man, and they did not exist millions of years ago. This idea fails because it lacks biblical support and puts death before sin when Scripture describes death as the consequence for sin. And he answered and said to them, "Have you not read that he who made them at the beginning made them male and female?" Matthew chapter 19 verse 4. We cannot add to Scripture, so please do not do this. Another part to this is what they call the geologic column. They say in the geologic column, dinosaur remains appear in the rock layers that paleontologists call Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. These layers of sedimentary rock, stacked one on top of the other, show specific characteristics, including those of certain fossil species such as mollusks, reptiles, fish, dinosaurs, and microscopic organisms, diatoms, and algae, among others that once filled the oceans. These scientists use these layers to justify their belief in the dinosaurs existing millions of years ago and to promote evolution. They say that each layer has millions of years to each one, and this is not true. The reason for these layers is because of the mass amount of water that came from the windows of heaven and the fountains of the deep when Yah judged the earth. The word of Yah speaks of giants. There were giants on the earth in those days. Genesis chapter 6 verse 4. You see, at one point in ancient history, humans, animals, insects, and etc. were much bigger back then. We had more longevity before the flood. The Bible records people living over 900 years before the flood and were much physically larger. There is much historical and archaeological evidence of giants that were discovered and recorded for our research. But the Smithsonian and other institutions are hiding and ignoring these findings because they conflict with the evolutionary theory. So you should do your own individual research on these findings of these large fossils. You must understand that everything was way bigger back in the ancient times. That's because these things were living up to 900 years old, so things back then were growing so large over that span of time. This is why we had big fossils of humans, animals, insects, and etc. The notion that there are dinosaurs that lived millions of years ago is false. These fossils that they are finding come from the Noah's flood that happened thousands of years ago. And there are cases of fraudulent fossil discoveries that paleontologists are manufacturing to prove dinosaurs existed. But you can look more into that if you want, but let's keep moving on. Another part of why people, mainly Christians, want to believe dinosaurs existed is when they read of Behemoth and Leviathan in the Bible. You can read about the Behemoth in Job chapter 40 verse 15 to 24. You can also read about the Leviathan in Job chapter 41 verses 1 through 34. There are some who want to say that the Behemoth is a hippopotamus or just a huge land beast. Some like to say that the Behemoth is actually a dinosaur, such as the Apatosaurus or Diplodocus. Even with the great sea creature Leviathan, some say it is a crocodile, a dragon, or a serpent. But some say it could be the dinosaurs such as the Mosasaurus. Now, there is a lot that people say about these two creatures, whether if they are dinosaurs or not. But to me, the Behemoth and Leviathan are not dinosaurs. They were just huge land and sea creatures. The problem here is when we try to mix the Bible with a whole different creation story the world sells. These are two different things that should not be put together. This is why the Behemoth and the Leviathan are not dinosaurs. And there are those who will want to debate and say they are dinosaurs, but I'm not here for that. People are only saying this to account for modern science that should not occur, because when you do proper research on this, you will see that this is only challenging the creation story found in the Bible. And it is a slap in the face to Elohim when we are mixing his creation account to oppose Satan's modern philosophy. Now, concerning the destruction and extinction of the dinosaurs, it varies. But the main point believed by many is that the dinosaurs, as well as other groups of plants and animals, suddenly disappeared as a consequence of a gigantic meteorite impact 65 million years ago. And then there were many things that occurred after the dinosaurs, like the Ice Age, for instance. The Pleistocene, or Ice Age, is the geological epoch that lasted from 2.58 million to 11,700 years ago. And during that time, there were cavemen or other hominids that existed during that time. The Paleolithic, or Old Stone Age, is the period in human prehistory 2.5 million years ago, distinguished by the original development of stone tools by hominids. They say during this era, early humans shared the planet with a number of now extinct hominin relatives, including Neanderthals and Denisovans. The humans lived in caves or simple huts or teepees and were hunters and gatherers. They used basic stone and bone tools as well as crude stone axes for hunting birds and wild animals such as mammoths, mastodons, sloths, beavers, and etc. And these animals were preyed upon by American lions, saber-toothed cats, cheetahs, and etc. But they say that the end of this period marked the end of the last ice age, Pleistocene age, and the end of the Paleolithic age, which resulted in the extinction of many large mammals and hominids. And Homo sapiens, or modern humans, has been the only existing species of Homo after this. Now they say that the extinction of the Ice Age and dinosaurs was from humans that caused global warming that still continues to this day. And this caused man to eventually migrate into different areas of the world. But if you watch my video about the agenda of climate change, I explain how they came up with this ideology to have a reason to depopulate the earth. When you are hearing about the man-induced climate change crisis, you are hearing their logic of why man is a virus to the environment and why there are goals to depopulate mankind in order to create a sustainable climate. They create these stories to indoctrinate us and make us believe we are the problem in order to push certain agendas and claim it is for the goodwill of us and the earth. And they push these stories on us with all of the entertainment from movies, television shows, commercials, and books to have us swallow up and believe these lies. And we just grow up thinking nothing of it, believing that this is our world's history, but they were just programming us to believe in their lies and keep us stuck in the strong delusion to be led away from Elohim. Now, it was important for me to go over their story of the dinosaurs to get to the agenda that they have with this. Understand that this story of the dinosaurs is leading man to a new future that is coming. If you have been paying attention to what is happening in the world today, we are on a horizon of great change. The unseen hand has a plan to great reset this world to bring about a new world order. And I say this because what people are not aware of who believe in the story of dinosaurs is that they have plans to use biotechnology in this coming new world order after the collapse of this old one. The World Economic Forum has an article titled, "Where Will Evolution Take Us in the Fourth Industrial Revolution?" The article says, "The study of evolution allows us to reconstruct the past and to understand how life evolved from simple to complex organisms. Evolutionary reasoning can help us make sense of the biggest questions in science, from the origin of the universe to the inner workings of the human brain. But can evolution also give us a hint of what is to come? Will technologies like gene editing make natural selection redundant? Might evolution tell us about the limits of planetary resources and what can be done to avoid environmental collapse, or how human society might evolve?" We captured these ideas in a book, Sidney Brenner's 10 on 10, The Chronicles of Evolution, which offers a glimpse of the future by considering where evolution can take us. Here are the perspectives of 3 experts from our book with some of our own. 1. In the Fourth Industrial Revolution, new gene editing tools are likely to overtake biological evolution. In the fourth industrial revolution, satisfactory may no longer be the status quo. We are now witnessing the most revolutionary stage of evolution when we give up evolving by biology alone. With new life sciences tools such as CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing, we are now able to reshape genomes and alter biological form and function. Now, this is important to understand because of the plans they have to change the biological domain in the world. An agenda that people need to be aware of is the fourth industrial revolution. This fourth industrial revolution is fundamentally different from the previous revolution. In the second chapter of his book, he writes about the drivers of the fourth industrial revolution. He speaks of megatrends. Now, what is a megatrend? It is a powerful, transformative forces that could change the global economy, business, and society, have been changing the way we live for centuries. Think electricity, automobile, the internet. Basically, megatrends are trends that have an effect on a global scale. So what Claus is going to talk about are trends that will affect the whole world and change the way we live. But one of these megatrends Claus speaks about is the biological aspect. He says, innovations in the biological realm, and genetics in particular, are nothing less than breathtaking. In recent years, considerable progress has been achieved in reducing the cost and increasing the ease of genetic sequencing, and lately in activating or editing genes. Synthetic biology is the next step. It will provide us with the ability to customize organisms by writing DNA. Setting aside the profound ethical issues this raises, these advances will not only have a profound and immediate impact on medicine, but also on agriculture and the production of biofuels. Many of our intractable health challenges, from heart disease to cancer, have a genetic component. Because of this, the ability to determine our individual genetic makeup in an efficient and cost-effective manner through sequencing machines using routine diagnostics will revolutionize personalized and effective healthcare. Increasing amounts of data will make precision medicine possible, enabling the development of highly targeted therapies to improve treatment outcomes. The ability to edit biology can be applied to practically any cell type, enabling the creation of genetically modified plants or animals, as well as modifying the cells of adult organisms, including humans. This differs from genetic engineering practice in the 1980s in that it is much more precise, efficient, and easier to use than previous methods. In fact, the science is progressing so fast that the limitations are now less technical than they are legal, regulatory, and ethical. The list of potential applications is virtually endless, ranging from the ability to modify animals so that they can be raised on a diet that is more economical or better suited to local conditions, to creating food crops that are capable of withstanding extreme temperatures or drought. As research into genetic engineering progresses, for example, the development of the CRISPR-Cas9 method in gene editing and therapy, the constraints of effective delivery and specificity will be overcome, leaving us with one immediate and most challenging question, particularly from an ethical viewpoint. How will genetic editing revolutionize medical research and medical treatment? In principle, both plants and animals could potentially be engineered to produce pharmaceuticals and other forms of treatment. The day when cows are engineered to produce in its milk a blood-clotting element which hemophilaks lack is not far off. Researchers have already started to engineer the genomes of pigs with the goal of growing organs suitable for human transplantation, a process called xenotransplantation, which cannot be envisaged until now because of the risk of immune rejection by the human body and of disease transmission from animals to humans. In line with the point made earlier about how different technologies fuse and enrich each other, 3D manufacturing will be combined with gene editing to produce living tissues for the purpose of tissue repair and regeneration, a process called bioprinting. This has already been used to generate skin, bone, heart, and vascular tissue. Eventually, printed liver cell layers will be used to create transplant organs. Now, there is a lot that can be discussed with this, but there was already people being able to have a heart transplant with a pig, and they plan to do this with a bunch of other things. They also are able to make bodily organs from 3D printing that are able to function how a real organ would in a human body. This stuff is real and not a game. And these people show us these things in their predictive programming movies. This is just conditioning us for a time when all of this will be acceptable. In the movie Avengers Age of Ultron, they showed us this when Hawkeye got injured and they used some spray and they gave him new skin.
You sure he's gonna be okay? Pretending to need this guy really brings the team together.
There's no possibility of deterioration. The nanomolecular functionality is instantaneous. His cells don't know they're bonding with simulacra.
She is creating tissue.
If you brought him to my lab, the regeneration cradle could do this in 20 minutes.
Oh, he's flatlining. Call it. Time?
No, I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna be made of plastic.
Your beverage.
You'll be made of you, Mr. Barton. Your own girlfriend won't be able to tell the difference.
Well, I have a girlfriend.
That I can't fix. This is the next thing, Tony. Your clunky metal suits are gonna be left in the dust.
Well, that is exactly the plan.
This is the same technology that Claus just spoke about. They put it right in front of us to normalize their plans and condition us for it. The book also says, we are developing new ways to embed and deploy devices that monitor our activity levels and blood chemistry, and how all of this links to well-being, mental health, and productivity at home and at work. We are also learning far more about how the human brain functions, and we are seeing exciting developments in the field of neurotechnology. We are confronted with new questions around what it means to be human, what data and information about our bodies and health can or should be shared with others, and what rights and responsibilities we have when it comes to changing the very genetic code of future generations. Wow. You see, these people clearly say that they are changing the very genetic code of future generations. This is the future that we are headed to. In the second book in section 2.3, it is titled Altering the Human Being. They have literal plans to alter us. And this book was published 2 years before the pandemic happened in 2020, in which they injected people's body with a new technology of mRNA. Now, you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with the dinosaurs? But that's what I'm about to get to. Now, in that book, Claus mentions the use of the technology CRISPR-Cas9. The CRISPR is a clustered, regularly interspaced, short palindromic repeats, is a gene editing technology that allows scientists to modify DNA in living organisms. The Cas9 is a CRISPR-associated Cas endonuclease or enzyme that acts as a molecular scissors to cut DNA at a location specified by a guide RNA. The gene editing tool CRISPR-Cas9 has revolutionized biomedical research and enabled medical breakthroughs.
So microbes are the most abundant life form on our planet and play vital roles in sustaining ecosystems. For instance, microbes can fix nitrogen for plants, help us to digest our food, they can harvest light and also remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So now, despite their extremely small size, microbes are incredible chemical factories that by far dwarf our own capabilities in molecular creation. For instance, some of our most successful drugs we use to treat disease are in fact created by the help of microbes. Think of antibiotics and other useful medicine. So now the digital revolution in biology set forth by DNA sequencing now enables us to sequence entire genomes. We have over 200,000 microbial genomes stored in the digital space. This is an incredible treasure trove for engineers to use.
So this is a precision tool that now allows us to take this protein RNA complex and introduce it into cells or tissues to correct mutations at sites where we know there's a deleterious change in the genetic code. So I wanted to show you an example of how this can be utilized. This protein complex can actually be injected directly into fertilized eggs of a mouse, and in the experiment you'll see we're targeting a gene that is responsible for the black coat color in mice. And so normally these mice have beautiful glossy black coats, and once we make this targeted change, we then implant these edited eggs back into a female mouse, and when she gives birth to pups, you'll see that the pups are now mostly white. And the remarkable thing about this experiment is that when these mice grow up, you can test them and show that every cell in the body has this single genetic change that gives rise to the white coat color, but otherwise they're absolutely normal. So they are normal mice, no mutations elsewhere in the genome. This is a type of experiment that used to take at least a year to create a mouse like this, and now it can be done in a few weeks and by people that don't have to have special expertise. So this is a technology it's been very exciting over the last 2.5 years to see this technology taking off. These are publications in the scientific literature. It's been sort of exponential growth of publications, people using this technology for all sorts of applications. And so some of these include making changes, targeted genetic changes in plants, in fungi, in animals that are important agriculturally, in animals that are important to us as pets, and also in thinking about human health, also to do things like make changes in stem cells, which are cells that can give rise to new organs. Also to make changes in animals that are important as models of human disease, such as mice and monkeys. And we think within the not too distant future, it will be possible to actually use this technology to make changes in humans.
The CRISPR-Cas9 edits genes by precisely cutting DNA and then harnessing natural DNA repair processes to modify the gene in the desired manner. The system has two components, the Cas9 enzyme and a guide RNA. Since then, it has been applied across all areas of biology. This has also been used with plants. They have biologically engineered plants, which are genetically modified plants, in which one or more genes from a different species have been introduced using biotechnology methods. The CRISPR-Cas9 technology can be applied to a diverse range of plant species and can produce a multitude of effects expressed by the plants. It is expected that the benefits of CRISPR-Cas9 edited crops and products will be able to reach the consumers. So this is why you have been seeing many foods that are bioengineered, that have been 3D printed and are genetically modified. Majority of the foods that we consume are fake and are lab experiments where these scientists use these new technologies to produce these bioengineered products. And you should look into how they are 3D printing food and a lot of other things like organs and etc. This is also the same case with animals that are bioengineered, or in other words, genetically modified, GMA. They are altering their DNA to introduce desirable traits. Scientists use tools like CRISPR-Cas9 to clone and modify specific genes for various purposes. They can clone and create a genetically identical copy of an animal and plant. There have been many animals that have been bioengineered, like frogs, mice, sheep, cows, and etc. There were reports of scientists using CRISPR editing to make genetically modified reptiles. Now remember that dinosaurs are prehistoric reptiles, and they are able to use CRISPR technology to make genetically modified reptiles. Now, if you ever watched the Jurassic Park movies, all of the dinosaurs they shown in the movies were hybrids, meaning that these dinosaurs were genetically engineered by combining 2 or more dinosaur genomes. The cartoon character in the movie, Mr. DNA, explained to the tourists the processes involved of how the company InGen recreated the dinosaurs.
I'll need a drop of blood. Your blood.
Right. Oh, John, that hurt.
Relax, John. It's all part of the miracle of cloning.
Hello, John.
Hello, John. Hello.
Hello, John. And from what?
Hello, John.
Blood extraction has never recreated an intact DNA strand.
Not without master sequence gaps.
Good afternoon, John.
DNA from what source? Where do you get 100 million year old dinosaur blood?
Shh. What? What? Oh, Mr. DNA, where did you come from?
From your blood. Just one drop of your blood contains billions of strands of DNA.
the building blocks of life. A DNA strand, like me, is a blueprint for building a living thing. And sometimes animals that went extinct millions of years ago, like dinosaurs, left their blueprints behind for us to find. We just had to know where to look. 100 million years ago, there were mosquitoes, just like today. And just like today, they fed on the blood of animals, even dinosaurs. Sometimes, after biting a dinosaur, the mosquito would land on the branch of a tree and get stuck in the sap. After a long time, the tree sap would get hard and become fossilized, just like a dinosaur bone, preserving the mosquito inside. This fossilized tree sap, which we call amber, waited for millions of years with the mosquito inside, until Jurassic Park scientists came along. Using sophisticated techniques, they extract the preserved blood from the mosquito and, bingo, dino DNA. A full DNA strand contains 3 billion genetic codes. If we looked at screens like these once a second for 8 hours a day, it'd take 2 years to look at the entire DNA strand. It's that long. So, it's full of holes. Now that's where our geneticists take over. Thinking machine supercomputers and gene sequencers break down the strand in minutes. And virtual reality displays show our geneticists the gaps in the DNA sequence. We use the complete DNA of a frog to fill in the holes and complete the code. And now we can make a baby dinosaur.
You know that I'm not at liberty to reveal the asset's genetic makeup. Modified animals are known to be unpredictable.
Just kill people, Henry.
That's unfortunate.
What purpose could we have for a dinosaur that can camouflage?
Cuttlefish genes were added to help her withstand an accelerated growth rate. Cuttlefish have chromatophores that allow the skin to change color.
It hid from thermal technology.
Really?
How is that possible?
Tree frogs can modulate their infrared output. We use strands from their DNA to adapt her to a tropical climate, but I never imagined...
Who authorized you to do this?
You did. Bigger. Scarier? Cooler, I believe is the word that you used in your memo. You cannot have an animal with exaggerated predator features without the corresponding behavioral traits.
What you're doing here, what you have done.
The board will shut down this park, seize your work, everything you've built.
And Hammond won't be there to protect you this time.
All of this exists because of me. If I don't innovate, somebody else will.
You are to cease all activities here immediately.
You are acting like we are engaged in some kind of mad science. But we are doing what we have done from the beginning. Nothing in Jurassic World is natural. We have always filled gaps in the genome with the DNA of other animals. And if their genetic code was pure, many of them would look quite different. But you didn't ask for reality. You asked for more teeth.
The InGen company stands for International Genetic Technologies, or InGen Bioengineering, and was a billion-dollar bioengineering company founded by John Hammond. So when you are seeing these dinosaurs in the Jurassic Park movies, they are not only promoting the false story of the dinosaurs, but they are actually conditioning you to be accepting of the bioengineering technologies. They are basically just conditioning us to be already accepting of DNA coding, because this will also be done with humans, which brings me to my next point. Now, not only will the technology of the CRISPR-Cas9 be used to alter the DNA and make clones of animals and plants, but it will also be used with humans as well. They reported a child that was diagnosed with a rare genetic disorder that was successfully treated with a customized CRISPR gene editing therapy. They are essentially making us become genetically modified by altering our DNA to improve our quality of life. The biggest use of the gene editing method is for the medical use. The use of the CRISPR tech is to be able to have humans be cured and invincible to ailments that can save our lives. But there are plans to make humans reptile hybrids with the CRISPR technology. Allow me to explain. Scientists are very fascinated with how lizards can regenerate. There are animals that are resistant to cancer and that can regenerate limbs, which is why they are so focused on reptiles. And they want to translate those animal superpowers to humans, as they say. Now, there are tests of gene editing that has been used successfully on reptiles. Gene editing in reptiles could provide insights into human health. Since they determined from evolution that reptiles are an ancestor of humans, this is why there are efforts to bioengineer reptile parts so that humans can regenerate tissues and be resistant to diseases. And since they are making actual progress with this technology, they have plans to use it on the masses in the soon future. Now, if you ever watched the Spider-Man movies, there's a character named Dr. Curtis Connors who was a handicapped scientist that sought out a way to cross animal DNA with humans so that he could adapt the same ability as a reptile to regrow limbs. He eventually succeeded, but in turn fully transformed into a lizard, and his goal was to turn the rest of mankind into lizards as well.
What you see here is a computer model of a lizard. Many of these wonderful creatures have so brilliantly adapted that they can regenerate entire limbs at will. You can imagine my envy. We're trying to harness this capability and transfer it into our host subject, Freddy, the three-legged mouse. Enter the algorithm now.
Do you need to take that?
System ready for gene insertion.
Okay. Check. See what I'm trying to do?
Preempt the protein.
Preempt the immune response.
Beginning trials. Pending. Pending. Failed. Subject deceased.
Come on.
Pending. Failed. Pending. Failed. Pending. Failed. Subject deceased. Pending. Peptide algorithm accepted. Regrowth complete. Vitals normal. Blood pressure normal. Limb regeneration successful.
Extraordinary. And thank you. Meet Fred and Wilma, our three-legged mice.
Hey, buddy. I got you.
Okay. Careful. I won't mistake you by mistake. Human trials aren't until next week.
All these souls, lost and alone, I can save them. I can cure them. There's no need to stop me, Peter.
But this was just another way of how they promote their agendas to the masses. This is not science fiction, but an actual plan that has already been implemented and tested, and they are just waiting to fully implement it in their new world that is coming. And there are many people who do desire to become lizards. And there are people who already believe we are reptiles because we have webbed hands and feet. And when we wear copper jewelry, it makes our necks green, showing that we are reptilian. And there are many people who believe that the elites of this world are green people or reptiles.
And there's a reason why I'm getting the off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two but I am telling you right now, that mother back there is not real.
But I know that this whole agenda of the CRISPR is not just about making people reptile hybrids, but mainly about people merging with machines in order to monitor and track them. I do have to be careful on what I say about this, but either way, they call this biotechnology, and they are going to manipulate our bodies in order to treat conditions. This is part of many different agendas, but nothing greater than merging us digitally with implantable microchips. A big part of their plan is to place computer chips in us so that we can secure our digital lives and they can track and know everything that we are doing. Most people are just asleep to their plans. I don't believe we are close to the rollout yet, But after they introduced all of these other ideas with blockchain and the new economic system, when they roll out the metaverse entire employment or this universal basic income into it, they will tie your digital identity, and the ultimate verification source will be that chip installed in your hand or your forehead. This is something that is very real and is already here. This is the new world that we are entering. And because people are in a strong delusion from following all these other religions and lies, they are not aware of the agendas the elite have to lead the world into the coming worship of Satan and the Antichrist in the New World Order. Now, I am going to stop here because this was enough already, and anyone who has ears to hear will understand what I am conveying in this message. It should be seen very clearly that this story of the dinosaurs is dangerous and is influencing the masses to accept changes that are coming soon to the world. This theory of the dinosaurs is priming us to be willing to accept new technologies that they say will evolve and advance our species. That's why so many things today promote to us that we should upgrade and adapt to technology that can evolve us.
How is humanity saved if it's not allowed to evolve? There's only one path to peace.
I just want you to understand that we cannot rationalize the Bible to fit with the doctrines of this world. Review the whole story they speak of with the dinosaurs and review all of the dinosaurs the system like to speak of. They've made up these stories to confuse you. Be careful of bringing these lies of the world into your belief of the Bible. When we begin to add our indoctrination to our biblical understanding, this is where problems start to form. One thing that people need to understand is that the God of this world, Satan, does not want this world to worship Yahuwah, the Elohim of heaven. He wants a world that is in rebellion against Yah. So with that, anything that supports the story of Yah's creation that is found in the Bible, he wants to discredit it. While on the flip side, anything that supports denial of Yah's hand on creation biblically, it gets accepted. So this is why we have the Big Bang Theory showing that the earth created itself. This is why we have the story of evolution, that we all came from monkeys and reptiles. That is a scientific doctrine that says we are not specifically created beings created purposely by Yah, but it's just the evolution of man. It's why we have the story of dinosaurs in order to say that life started way before the Bible said it does. It's why we are also told that we are living on a spinning globe that spins around the sun in vast infinite space with the possibility of other life forms that exist. When believing in these lies, you have been indoctrinated to believe the worldview of Satan in order to trap you in the strong delusion. This is why we need to break away from these false beliefs and only concern ourselves with Yah's truth in the Bible. Those who are following these satanic stories are being led to an end that they are not aware of because they love the lie rather than the truth. There are many Christians who support the story of the dinosaurs. If this is you, you must repent from these philosophies of men and follow the Bible in its totality. There are too many people in this world that lack trust in our Father in heaven. People trust more in natural philosophy, modern science, rather than Elohim. Believers must be fully set apart and reliant upon our Master. We must not follow the ways and paths of this world, but be led by his Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, and be protected and covered by the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. Too many people are following the philosophies and fables of man. And I am not debating on this topic because there is no debate. Too many people are following the created and not the creator. What's wonderful about this is that Yahuwah prophesied that this will happen and that people will fall away and worship other gods and creatures. For the wrath of Yah is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who suppress the truth in unrighteousness, because what may be known of God is manifest in them, for God has shown it to them. For since the creation of this world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse, because although they knew God, they did not glorify him as God, nor were thankful, but became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Professing to be wise, they became fools and changed the glory of the incorruptible God into an image made like corruptible man, and birds and four-footed animals and creeping things. Therefore God also gave them up to uncleanness and the lust of their hearts, to dishonor their bodies among themselves, who exchanged the truth of God for the lie, and worship and serve the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Romans chapter 1, verse 18 to 25. Hallelujah.